Hello and welcome back to English with Vlad podcast. My name is Vlad, and today I want to record a relatively short but very important episode about how heavily we are influenced by the things we consume. Specifically, I want to talk about the quality of your language input, things you consume, you listen to, you read, and how it directly affects the quality of your language output, things you say, things you write. Have you ever binge-watched a British TV series and suddenly you found yourself wanting to use British slang or even mimic the accent? Or maybe vice versa. You are watching a gritty TV series about the streets or the hood, yeah? And you immediately notice your language changing. Suddenly, you are using more informal words and heavy slang. Or it can be even a character from the movie that resonated with you, and suddenly you start speaking more like that character. What about profanities? Profanities like bad words, yeah? Have you ever noticed that when you watch a movie or a show with a lot of swearing, bad words, profanities, you subconsciously start using those same profanities in your own daily life? This is undeniable evidence that we are deeply affected by the things we listen to and read. Basically, everything we consume in English shapes our English. Let me repeat that again. Everything we consume in English is shaping our English. Okay? Actually, I caught myself doing this recently. Just the other day, I was using the phrase "I'm honored" with my students during the lesson. In one of the lessons in the conversation, my student wanted to reply politely and say "I'm honored," so I helped him inject that phrase in the sentence, and right after the lesson ended, I was speaking in English to my friends and my spouse, and I realized I was subconsciously inserting that exact same phrase, "I'm honored," into my casual conversation. This proves one major point. Everything you consume in your target language dictates how you interact in that language. And there is actually hard science to back this up. In linguistics and psychology, this phenomenon is known as synthetic priming, or chameleon effect. Our brains are naturally wired to subconsciously mimic the vocabulary, grammar structures, and even the tone of the people we interact with or listen to. And of course, you know the proverb, "Tell me who your friend is and I'll tell you who you are." Yeah? Basically, the idea is the people you hang out with and spend time affect your personality, your actions, your habits, and so on. But the same is true about the people you listen to, like the conversations, the podcasts, the speeches you listen to. It actually affects your language, the way you speak. It is an evolutionary trait designed to help us bond and fit in with our social groups. So your brain is essentially a linguistic sponge. It absorbs everything you hear, everything you listen to, and then you start using that in your conversation or in the way you write things, the way you communicate with others. Now, why am I telling you all this? Well, because this gives us a unique, powerful opportunity. We can consciously change our input to improve our output. If you want to sound elegant, articulate, and fluent, you need to consume elegant, articulate, and fluent English. I hope that is logical and clear, right? This brings me to a special series in our community called The Gold Standard of English. The main idea behind this series is to offer you and my students and the community at large the ultimate tool for high quality input, okay? Like a gold standard of the conversations or of English in general. I personally handpick the speeches and podcasts featuring natives who display the exact eloquence and mastery of the English language that we all want to achieve. This week, I published a post in the series Gold Standard of English, featuring King Charles III historic speech, historic address to the US Congress. But I don't just give you the audio or the video and tell you to listen. No, I take a very short, digestible piece of that speech and prepare a transcript and then create a shadowing exercise for you. The goal is to mimic the exact intonation, pronunciation, and tone of that speaker, and it is the absolute best way to reprogram your output using the highest quality input available. So what you do is basically you take the gold standard of English. If you want to improve your British accent, you can listen to King Charles III's speech. If you want to improve your fluency, you take a speaker from our gold standard of English series who is like really good at, fluent responses, thinking on the go, and you listen and you consume, and that will affect your English. So today, guys, I want to leave you with this challenge. Next time you consume anything in English, whether you are reading a book, listening to a podcast, or watching a Netflix show, stop and ask yourself, how is this affecting my English? Okay, just think about it, generate some ideas, see for yourself, would you like to speak like that? If it's a character speaking in a movie, would you want to speak the same way? Ask yourself that question. Of course, I would love to hear from you. Have you ever noticed this effect playing out in your own experience? What show, movie, or person completely changed the way you spoke for a few days? Because that's what happens, After watching TV series, like all the seasons, for example, you then notice that for a few days or even a week, you speak differently. Please share your stories in the comments below. I want to thank you for listening to this episode. I will put the link to the community where you can actually get access to Gold Standard of English series in the description to this podcast. Join us if you haven't joined already. There will be a lot of materials shared, and of course the vault of the community, like the knowledge base, is growing every day. So I'll be happy to see you in the community. Thank you again for listening. Thank you for your interest in the English language. And I'll see you in the next episode of English with Vlad podcast.